So basically the purpose of this video is to talk about and highlight something big that's coming up in my life. So and for the upcoming year, I'm going to be living in Sevilla, Spain, working as a cultural ambassador. So basically today what I'm going to do is go over the visa application process for people from Alabama, because there were a lot of hoops to jump through, and I wish that somebody would have told me what I needed to do more clearly before I started. So basically, as soon as you're accepted to the Cultural Ambassadors Program, you get this email and they stress the importance of applying for your visa ASAP. I want to reiterate that. Apply for your visa now. As soon as you get that acceptance letter, schedule your visa appointment. Okay, schedule your visa appointment. So if you're like me and you're from the state of Alabama, your consulate that you're going to be working with is the consulate in Houston. So as soon as you have that letter, go to the Houston Consulate for Spain page, schedule your appointment through their online platform, and I would say give yourself about a month and a half of time to gather your materials, but as soon as you know that you need to start applying for that visa, schedule the appointment, because those appointments fill up really, really fast, especially in the months of like June, July, and August, okay? For all the study abroad. And basically, with that, cultural ambassadors will send you a list of the documents that you need to get together in order to apply, and I'm going to go over those with you and kind of how to gather the materials that you're going to need. So in order to submit your application, you will need 8 things. So the first thing, and probably the most important thing that you're going to need to apply for a visa, is a passport. And it needs to be a valid passport that will be good the entire time of your stay in Spain. If you see that your passport will expire during the time you're supposed to be there, apply for a new one ASAP. Cool? So you have a passport. You're also going to need the visa application form. You're going to need a form of ID proving that you live in the state for that jurisdiction. So that can be a driver's license, a state ID, a student ID card, just something proving that you are able to apply through the consulate that you're at. You'll also need 2 recent passport photos that you're going to attach to the visa application forms. You're going to need the letter that you get sent by the regional educational authorities. You get sent from the regional education authorities in Spain, telling you what region you're in, what school you're in, the length of your stay, the amount of money you're going to be paid, etc., etc. You're going to need that original copy. You'll have it via email, or either they will mail it to you, one or the other. And in addition, you're going to need a police criminal record clearance. There are 2 different ways that you can get this. You can get a Department of State clearance, or you can get an FBI record clearance. And I'll go over kind of the basic idea for how to do both later. The 7th thing that you will need is a medical certificate. So basically a letter from your doctor on letterhead stating that you are healthy and free of any infectious or contagious diseases that will be dangerous to the population of Spain in accordance with the International Health Regulation 2005. And you will need either cash or a money order for the amount of $160 as of August 2018. And one other thing that I would recommend that you bring with you is a self-addressed envelope. One additional thing that I would suggest you bring with you is a self-addressed return envelope. It can be a priority mail envelope or an express mail envelope, and those come with tracking numbers. And that way you'll have a record of when it's been sent back to you, so you'll know when your visa is coming to you in the mail. So now I'm going to go over a little bit about getting all of these papers together and having it ready for your visa appointment. So the things you need to have ready in order, one by one. Let's go. So the passport is easy. If you already have one, nothing needs to be done. If you don't have one, You're going to need to have passport photos taken. You're going to have to fill out a passport application, pay the passport fee, and mail it off to get it sent back to you in time. In addition, you will need to fill out the national visa application form. Although, while you're in Spain, you will be working through the Cultural Ambassadors Program, the visa that you're applying for is a student visa. So, when you do your application, make sure you mark student visa. There are websites that will include information and tips for filling out this form, and I will link that below. In addition, you're going to need your ID. Like I said, it can be a driver's license, state ID, or student ID. And make sure you bring a copy of it as well, a clear copy. You're going to have the 2 recent passport photos. I had mine taken at CVS. You can also have them taken at Walgreens and a lot of other places. They're not very expensive, but make sure you have 2 recent passport size photos. The acceptance letter, which we've went over before, and the police criminal record clearance. So this is the part that I want to focus on a little bit, because this part, it's a lot of bureaucracy and it's really easy to get tangled up in it. So there are 2 different ways to do it. You can order it through your state, or you can get an FBI criminal background check. This time I went through the state. So what that required was that I had to get a set of fingerprints taken at an FBI approved location, which in Mobile was just the Mobile Police Department on Government Street. It was $15 to have a set of my fingerprints taken, and I sent that in along with the application and a money order for the fee, right? What you also want to do is that when you send in your fingerprints to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, you also want to request that they send back your document with a letter attached certifying it. But what that letter needs to have is it needs to be notarized. So you need a notarized letter stating that this Alabama background check is true. And you need to request that when you send in your fingerprints to have them done. Back in the mail, you can make the next step, which is, for me, the easiest thing to do is to drive to Montgomery. I drove to Montgomery and went and had it apostilled at the Secretary of State. So basically there, you take the document and you show it to them. You have to pay, and I believe it's $5. They look at the notarized document and include a letter with a seal according to the Apostle of the Hague Convention, confirming that the document is true. And that document will be valid for what you need. The other way of having it done is apply through the FBI channeler. And again, if you apply through the FBI for the federal background check, you'll have to pay the fee. You need to request upfront that it comes back to you with an apostille, and you'll have to pay additional money to have that done as well. But it's really not as hard as it sounds. You just need to know beforehand that you're going to need to have that notarized letter attached to it. And you have to have a notarized letter to get the apostille done later down the road. And the document that you turn in with your visa application must be apostilled. Okay, cool, clear, grand. It's really like you want one document to have a stamp on it, you want the other one to have a little seal on it, but you need to have them or you get no visa. Do it. In addition to the ones in the States, if you have lived outside of the country in the past 5 years, you will need to get a background check for every country that you've lived in during that time. And make sure you turn that in as well. And the final thing that I mentioned before is the medical certificate. And again, just make sure your doctor prints that on letterhead and it states that you're free of it. And that it states that you're free of any contagious or infectious diseases according to the International Health Regulation of 2005. Cool, cool, cool. There is a chance that if you're applying for through a different consulate, they're going to ask for different documents, or they may have different requirements. They may say you can't bring cash, you may only bring a money order. So make sure you check the websites as well. But this is just kind of to help you guys so you don't run into the same problems that I did. I can tell you this, the reason why I've been complaining about well, not complaining. The reason why I'm trying to stress the importance of this background check is because I did it completely wrong, and I had to drive to Montgomery anyway to get a notarized letter because I didn't request that when I requested my background check. So make sure that you do it that way so you don't have to do it over or have it come back and bite you later on. Cool. Cheers. Anyways, I hope this is helpful. I'll be continuing to make videos as it gets closer to the time for me to leave and while I'm there. And I hope that you guys enjoy following my journey. Besos and have a good night. Bye! One more thing, I forgot. Make sure you make a copy of everything. So you need a copy of your ID, a copy of the signature page of your passport. You're going to need a copy of the application, so you have 2 of them, a copy of your medical certificate. Just make sure you have a copy and that you have an extra copy that you're turning in when you turn in your documents. And lastly, although I did say that I drove to Montgomery to do that, you don't have to drive to Montgomery. You can do everything through the mail or wherever it is in your state. Just make sure that you give yourself enough time from when you're mailing it off to get it back before the date that you scheduled your visa appointment. And again, if you go on that website, you can change your dates, and even though it may be full, there's still, or like the calendar may seem extremely full, there's still a chance that you'll be able to schedule it or move the date that you scheduled to an earlier time. Anyways, good luck again.